YouTube, hello. It's Meta Self again. I want to talk briefly about something I noticed in probably my discussion, well, a lot of my discussions on the YouTube comments, and also with other YouTube conversation comments, which is what I would call free running to the goalposts, to the ever-shifting goalpost. So to break it down really quickly, the idea of shifting the goalpost is comes from soccer, where the one of the teams will try to move its goal in order to have. So let's say the enemy, the opposing team is trying to kick the ball into the goal, and then they move the goal to the side as the ball is coming towards it, so the ball misses the goal. Now, in conversation, what this means is that if two people are discussing a certain topic, and let's say they're debating, so let's say they're talking about whether or not the moon is made of cheese, if this topic that they're discussing, whether or not, let's say one's for, one's against, if one of the parties starts bringing up maybe some idea about whether or not the NASA organization is good or bad, that would be shifting the goalpost. Or maybe whether or not or where the moon actually come from, as opposed to what it's made out of, right? So you can see that the fallacy here is that instead of focusing on the topic that you intended to, the argument you intended to have, one of the players shifts the aim of the conversation towards another point, and so the person who is trying to either prove or disprove is having to ever move more and more, and I call that moving free running, because as the point of the conversation keeps getting shifted over, the person trying to prove or disprove keeps, the person not shifting with the other person starts moving from topic to topic, and I call that moving from topic to topic free running. Now, free running, a lot of people are familiar with it being related to this like parkour kind of street activity where people are running over, it's kind of cool, but it looks like you're going to lose a lot of front teeth doing it, but I'm not talking about that free running. What I'm talking about is a kind of free running that's noticed by sleep researchers. So let's say, for instance, you had no contact with light and you were just in this cell, basically. So what would happen is you would sleep the normal 8 hours that you do or whatever, but you would wake up either a little later every day or a little earlier every day. And because there's no way of telling what time it is, there's no sun or anything, you're not going to regulate that. And so what would end up happening is that, you'll start shifting from going. So you might be used to sleeping or waking up at 9 a.m. and now you'll wake up the next day at 8:55, and then the day after that at 8:45, and then so on and so forth, all the way till now you're starting to wake up at 3 in the morning. But to you, it feels like nothing's changed. But in increments, because of this ability, the lack of the ability to see the sun, your sleep cycle starts moving and having no stable place. And so the researchers call that free running. Now, I think this is exactly what happens in these conversations. You'll start talking about, let's say, the moon's made of cheese, whether or not the moon's made of that, and it'll end up on whether or not Hitler liked cheese, or whether Hitler was trying to make artificial moon of cheese. It just shifts, or it goes even farther than that, and it'll go to to something completely irrelevant. So you're talking about the moon, now you're talking about the inner core of the earth now, when you started talking about the moon. And I noticed this happens a lot with conversations on YouTube. This happens all the time, and I try to always keep it, and people sometimes who maybe are not familiar with the term kind of throw it back at me when I tell them, look, please don't shift the goalpost. Sometimes, most of the time I don't say please, but I say, don't shift the goalpost. And they'll say, either what do you mean, or kind of laugh it off or something, when the idea is let's stay on topic, let's stay on point, because if not, we're just going to keep going from one to the other, and we'll never get anywhere, literally, because we'll never get to any point. Now, Now, I feel like some people use it as a tactic, while other people just don't know how to argue very well and don't understand the basic logical fallacies that there are, and so they just find themselves committing these things, but without any intent, while other people are probably doing it on purpose, like politicians and whatnot, to redirect the conversation in a way that benefits them and makes them look right. Because you know how important looking right is. So, I mean, that was basically all I wanted to say. It's just, all it is in a nutshell is just that when you're going to have discussions on YouTube, one of the things is you have to stay on topic. And if you don't stay on topic and you shift the goalposts, you'll free run. And free running and this is why so many YouTube conversations go on for so long. Because people keep free running over it, and then, I mean, there's a certain law. I don't know if it's God, maybe I should just look it up real quick, but there's a specific law that says that if two people or more are having a conversation on the internet and it's like debating an issue, that the probability that they'll bring up Nazis approaches 1 with the increased length as the conversation goes on. So the chances that, basically in layman's terms, means that in the chances that the conversation two people are having, discussion having, will touch upon the Nazis, increases in probability as the conversation goes on longer. So the longer it goes on, the more likely the conversation will turn to Nazis. And this is a common example of free running, which is, looking at it from a mathematical perspective, you can think of Nazis being some kind of attractor basin for the trajectories of many of these conversations if they go on long enough, which is funny. But hold on for a second. Oops, that's not it. Hold on. You hear me typing. Okay, I think it's called Godwin's Law. Okay, everyone, it's called Godwin's Law, or Godwin's Law, Rule of Nazi Analogies. Is an internet adage asserting that, quote, as an online discussion grows longer, the probability of a comparison involving Nazis or Hitler approaches 1. That is, if an online discussion, regardless of topic or scope, goes on long enough, sooner or later someone will compare someone or something to Hitler or Nazism. Despite being described as universal regardless of the subject and of the discussion, Godwin's Law is more likely to be applicable to social topics like politics and religion and law. So it's true, I guess if two people are talking about the bone structure of a certain kind of bird in the Midwest, they're not going to really touch on Nazism unless Nazis have to do with the bird. But it seems that for most things that people are passionate about and are willing to spend enough time to debate, like law, religion, society, one thing to learn is we need to stay on topic. And we can go, once we finish one topic, we can go to another topic. We'll never exhaust topics, we'll never run out of them. But we have to focus, though, because this kind of free running, it doesn't. This is exactly what makes people think that discussions on the internet are so impractical and lead nowhere. That they are self-defeating in a way, and this is it, because people don't know how to argue correctly and keep moving the goalpost all over the place. So, that's basically just the awareness I want to bring out to people. I'm sure a lot of people know about the goalposts and stuff, but there are many on YouTube that just don't. So please, out there, either tell people or tell yourself, don't shift the goalposts. If you're going to be talking about a topic, just stay on topic, and don't be afraid of being wrong. It's always being, the good thing about being wrong is that you're able to be right, because now you know the way. It's just you have to be open to it and know, you have certain, you got whatever principles you have to abide by, and then follow those principles. If your principles is experiment and empiricism and rationality, that's one principle. If your principles, whatever the holy book says, that's another. I mean, I'll go with the former, but I can't force people out of the latter. So yeah, that's basically where I wanted to talk about, and that's it's almost about 10 minutes here. So all right, we're already over 10 minutes. So all right, everybody, thanks for listening, and remember, stay on topic when discussing things. Don't free run. All right, everyone, Meta Self out of here. Have a good one.